I want to share with you 9 of my favorite watches which are super budget. All of these watches cost between $20 and $50 because once again, good watches don't have to break the bank. You can still get top-notch looks, great refinement, and again, they don't break the bank. So all the listings we'll be covering off today, their links will be in the description below the video, so do check them out if you're after a sharp price. And now, let's dive in.
The Addiesdive AD2030 is a classic and understated timepiece that offers all the essential qualities of a practical and reliable wristwatch. This elegant and subtle bracelet watch is not as simple as it looks at first glance. This timepiece is a stunningly beautiful watch that is suitable for any occasion. The practical simplicity is crafted into a timeless design that fits in any setting. And yes, this is a quartz watch. A mega quartz to be specific, beating at 4 times per second, namely a hybrid movement that resembles the automatic sweeping seconds pointer. But this video is not about the perennial quartz debate, but you cannot deny the sheer convenience and reliability of quartz, especially this ultra-accurate Seiko VH31 Mega Quartz. There are many things to fall in love with on this watch. To name a few, a morning sky blue dial which is so multifaceted that it feels like staring across a snowdrift, the snow ripples reflecting the bluish light. We get a dome crystal resembling box crystal, a stainless steel case and bracelet with a signed and milled clasp. The clasp also gets 5 micro adjustments. We get inverted end links, keeping the lug-to-lug measurement down to a minimum. The 100 meters of water resistance adds to the aforementioned practicality and robust nature of the design. The dimensions of the case are 36.6 millimeters. The lug-to-lug measurement is 44 millimeters. The lug-to-lug width is 90 millimeters, the height of just 10.9 millimeters, and a weight of 107 grams. But that was before I have removed 2 links on either side to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. After the removal, the weight came down to 92 grams. So really quite a featherweight watch considering the stainless steel case and bracelet.
A stunning looking watch from Benyar. Quality vs price paid equals value gained or lost. I think Benyar have a winner here. The Explorer inspiration to this watch is clear enough. The watch gets a signed, solid, stainless steel bracelet, a wide open exhibition back, revealing the rotor and the balance wheel. An open and uncluttered dial with a subdued and elegant sunburst effect. But the key standout feature of this watch is its automatic movement. So we get a diameter of 40.8 millimeters. The lug-to-lug length is 49.8 millimeters. The lug-to-lug width is 21 millimeters and the height is 13.9 millimeters. If we look at the watch from the side, the profile of it is quite flat. The lugs are only slightly curving downwards at the tips, but considering the inverted end links design and quite a modest lug-to-lug length of 49 millimeters, that's fine. As you can see, there's no overhang on my 6.5-inch wrist. The square stance of the case profile give away the inspiration, but what Guanqin did is spice up the traditional conservatism with splashes of color and texture. An automatic diver by Guanqin is not the ordinary homage we're used to by now. For a very budget price, south of $60, we get premium features like sapphire crystal and a sapphire cyclops, a screw-in crown and a screw-down case back, solid stainless steel all around. We get a signed clasp and a milled folded wing, and on top of that we do get 100 meters of water resistance, offered in 4 colorways, all unique and interesting. With regards to the dimensions, we've got a diameter of 41 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 51.8 millimeters, a lug width of 20 millimeters, tapering down at the clasp to 16 millimeters, a height of 12.6 millimeters without the cyclops. With it, it's 13.9 millimeters and a weight of 160 grams before I've removed any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. Looking at the profile, we see the glossy polished flank. Lean and tall with a distinct curve around the midpoint of the case. Layering of the watch is also pronounced with the bezel lip overhanging ever so slightly. Personally, I think it makes bezel rotation much more convenient and efficient. The bezel action is mostly good. I'd give it a solid 4 stars. For the heavy and consistent resistance throughout the rotation cycle, the ratchety Metal-on-metal clang of the clicks is distinct and playful. Positioning is quite precise. The only downside is the rubbery feel between clicks. There's a lot to like about the classic elegance of the Chameri homage timepiece. This is my first watch from Chameri, finally a micro brand with an elegant and inspirational name. But I didn't bring in their watch just for the name. I think what they did is homage the inspiration in the utmost formidable way. The proportions, the elegant contours, and crucially the air and sentiment was transmitted. The highlight of this timepiece is the incredible dial texture, resembling ripples on a lake. These ripples are namely the omibitari phenomenon, and it is quite the wonder. Essentially, it's the appearance of ridges or lines that form on the ice covering Lake Suwa in Japan. This phenomenon is described by legends of gods walking across the lake, hence the name omibitari, which actually translates to God's crossing. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 39.5 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 45.5 millimeters, a height of just 9.8 millimeters, a lug width of 20 millimeters, and a weight of 80 grams. At first glance, down at the wrist, it may seem that the watch is nothing out of the ordinary, but then you halt and start to notice the intricate play of light over the polished surfaces, contours, and angles. The design philosophy here is of a vintage-inspired cocktail watch. One you wear out to impress, yet subtly, as if you slipped it on as an afterthought. Self-winding automatic Rolex OP homage by Benyar. Fun sky blue dial, 100 meters of water resistance, stainless steel bracelet, see-through screw-down case back. What else could we want for $22? First up, the dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 39 millimeters, a height of 12.1 millimeters, lug-to-lug measurement 47.4 millimeters, and that is all thanks to the inverted end links, a lug-to-lug width of 19.5 millimeters, and it tapers down to the clasp to 17.7 millimeters. Now, I do want to mention the diameter of the crown, which is quite hefty, and it comes down to 6.5 millimeters. The weight was 120 grams, and that is after I've removed 4 links, so 2 links on either side to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. Looking down at the watch, you want to smile. I know I do. The case aesthetics are all too familiar from the more pricey watches. Gentle rounding of the case on the sides. It's not often I get to handle an automatic under 25 bucks, especially one with very decent specs and looks. The Cadisen C7063 is a split-second chronograph with 3 color variations available. This blue with silver subdials, a silver with blue subdials, or an all blacked out version. The watch is not just a quartz chrono, it's a split-second chronograph with a small seconds hand, retropant or catch-up functionality, although it's not perfect with the decorative tachymeter scale on the periphery. This is one of the definite misses. But the way this timepiece was put together is another level. It looks and feels so expensive. On top we have a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective treatment, a stainless steel case and bracelet, a signed screw and crown, and a screw-down case back. Although my favorite feature is the grainy and crystal-like coarse pattern of the dial. Contrasty and all for legibility. The lume is also quite impressive. With a diameter of just 42.1 millimeters, a lug-to-lug of 48.7 millimeters, and aggressively downward sloping lugs, this rather largish watch can fit even the slender wrists. Considering the relatively thin profile of the case, just 11.8 millimeters high, the flat flank still appears rather tall. The layering is very distinct, the tall and lean flank brush horizontally, with the lugs falling off sharply at the edges. The fixed bezel's outer edge is also brushed, yet the bezel is more of a thin frame, supporting the huge slab of sapphire crystal covering most of the case diameter. Poda P613. It's a sport watch with an integrated steel bracelet. Plenty of standout feature in this piece, such as a stainless steel bracelet, gorgeous yard floorboard dial, which is emerald green around the pinions and fading to a deep shade at the perimeter. It's got a date window, Mercedes-style hands, and batten indices covered in lume. The surprise is the formidable luminosity, brightness, and longevity at this $13 price tag. I know it's hard to believe, but this watch here is just $13. That's it. This is quite special. The case sides, the lugs get a sandblast effect. The sculpted case gets many facets and grooves, causing plentiful and unique light play effects. The lugs curve downward aggressively to fit even the slender wrist, so take a look at how it looks on my 6.5-inch wrist. In regards to dimensions, we get a diameter of 41mm, a lug-to-lug length of 52mm, a height of 10.9mm, and a weight of 127 grams. But that was before I removed any of the links. After removing 2 links from either side, I got a weight of 105 grams. Now let's talk about the Chameri 9288. So this is a throwback to the 1970s, to a very famous Tissot homage. Essentially, this is a retro-style sport watch with an integrated bracelet, but all you'll be paying for this piece is $15. Now, the Chameri did a fantastic job at taking the key attributes of the success formula of the PRX and applied it to their watch. The piece oozes charm and carries a classy vintage stance that is so regarded in the contemporary times. For your dosh, you get quite a bit, so a timeless classic inspired design, stainless steel bracelet and clasp, domed crystal, day-and-date complication, 30 meters of water resistance, meaning it is splash proof, and a dependable and accurate Japanese quartz movement. In regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 40mm, a lug-to-lug length of 52mm, we get a height of 11.2mm, but that's mostly due to the domed crystal. A lug-to-lug width of 25mm because it is an integrated bracelet that tapers down to 16mm at the clasp. Extreme conditions, extreme environments, on land and underwater. It's a niche that needs covering. The Addiesdive MY050s is a tough cookie, inspired by the iconic Luminox Navy SEAL, which it clearly homages. Built like a rock to last and endure, 316L solid stainless steel bracelet, alloy case to reduce weight, dependable Japanese quartz, screw-down case pack, water resistant up to 50 meters, anti-reflective coating on the flat sheet crystal. On top of that, we get extreme luminosity. So with this watch, I paid $24. I think it was like $24.80, somewhere along those lines. So just under $25. If I could actually liken this case to a human, I would say it's muscular and quite burly, so slightly blown out and yet not out of proportions, considering that you do have a lug-to-lug of just 50mm. And you can see that on my 6.5-inch wrist, it looks just fine. Now, the links to all of the watches we discussed today will be in the description below the video, so do check them out if you're after some sharp prices. Now, these are affiliate links, meaning that if you make a qualified purchase, I'll be getting some kickback from AliExpress. It won't cost you anything, but I get the commission in that I can use to buy more watches and review them for you guys. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.